This is RPMMORadio.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
A podcast all about role-playing and MMORPGs.
I like what you got. Good job!
With your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Sid, Jazz, Sibh'Bae, and Kishmas.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Greetings and welcome to RPMMORadio. Thanks everybody for showing up. Appreciate you tuning in live at twitch.tv/RPMMORadio every Saturday night at 7 Central Time. For you East, West, and whatever is in the other time zone in the middle of the country. Made up time, I think, is what the M stands for. Or it's mountain. One of the two. I'm going to go with made
mountain.
up. No, it's made up. It's made up time. Nobody lives in that time zone.
What about monkey time?
There's no monkeys in that time zone. It's impossible. We're not
monkey
that kind of climate.
time.
It's not.
Oh, no wonder my mic wasn't working. I forgot to unmute it.
Oh, there's a little
Hey,
bit.
hello!
Welcome. Nice to
Hello,
meet you.
everybody. So this is episode 28. We appreciate everybody tuning in. You can always, of course, listen to it as a podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, blah, 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 blah. And we want to thank all of our Patreon donors, and of course, a special thanks to that guy, Laza. You can, of course, join our Patreon at patreon.com/RPMMORadio. We have various tiers from $1 to $20. You get different things depending on how you go and how high you are. No matter what you get a special, cute little green name in our Discord.
Don't forget about Gangsy. Gangsy girl.
She only gets it for the one time. You need to know how your show works.
I don't have any clue.
Yeah. No. Yeah. See,
Learn to podcast.
That's right.
I need podcast 101.
Apparently somebody hasn't been to patreon.com/limitbreakradio to look over our tiers of Patreon donorship. Also, a special thanks to Protector Magi, who followed us on Twitch between shows. We are at 45, only 5 more to go to 50 and unlock the affiliate status on Patreon, or not Patreon, but Twitch. So if you haven't hit the little heart button between shows, if you're not listening to us live, we appreciate you going on after the fact if you're listening on the podcast and clicking the little heart follow button thingy and getting us to 50 so that we can do a couple extra things that helps get us out there. It's, little things like that. It's just trying to get it out there as best we can. The more people we can reach, the more role players we can touch, and not in a creepy sort of...
Oh, not that way? Oh.
Not that way. No, Raj.
Well, hold on.
That reminds me,
Ruins all
Raj,
the fun.
Kishmas, after the show, I need to have a talk with you. Don't worry about it. Just bring a cardboard box and all of the things from your desk.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. It's just a little talk, though. No, don't worry too much about it. Just
I like our little talks.
right. Yes.
Private.
Yes. Let's get it on.
Oh my
Hey, he's a good looking man as a dark elf. I have no idea what he actually looks like. He could be the beast man of Alcatraz for all I know, but in game,
Actually, that's pretty damn close.
I am not an animal.
Oh my god.
All right, it's gonna be one of those nights, guys. So appreciate everybody.
Buckle in and put on your helmet.
That's right. So few little things. That's all that fun stuff. I also want to give one shout out to somebody in the chat, Cameron Chan from the Discord. He's a listener of the show. I just in chatting with him over the week. He apparently has a webcomic for World of Warcraft because he was saying that he was playing ESO and hadn't updated it, and he was starting to feel guilty. So I figured we'd give it a shout out because it's called taurenitup.com.
Oh, neat.
Like with a Tauren, so TAURENITUP.com. I was reading through them. They're actually pretty darn funny. Follows his Tauren character as a paladin, and apparently not a great paladin in the later portions where I'm reading.
How many puns have you found besides the name?
The name was mostly the biggest one. The rest of it's just a comic strip.
Disappointed.
I mean, there could be more. I didn't read through every single one of them. I read through quite a few of them, and I was like, and then I saw something shiny out of the corner of my eye, and I wandered off. There was an
I do that a lot.
It was really bad.
It does that a lot. Yeah,
it does. But no, I figured we give him a shout out. I would like to promote everything that people do, especially cool. I've always loved like when people did comic strips. Like one of my favorites was from EverQuest days, the no, not LFG, was it WTF Comics? That one was based on the EverQuest one, by I forget the guy's names. I know what they called him, Straw something or other. He was an Ixar, but that was a great comic. It was so much fun back in the day, such nostalgia. So if you guys ever do stuff like that, you want to shout out or like a quick promotional thing. I mean, we've got millions of people across the world potentially that could listen to the show.
I like how he says
don't
that.
Have
Believe me.
right. It's potentially. I'm just saying there's a lot of potential. Like there's a potential for movement, which, as some people might realize, that's called being stopped. But we have that potential for movement. So another thing, too, I was thinking of, Jay actually sent me in some of what Gangsy Girl had done a week or two before. If you guys got pictures from like roleplay stuff, I mean, don't flood me with like all of the if you send me the shitty ones, it's not gonna work. I mean, if it's like the back of your character's, okay, if actually it's the back of your character's head and all we can see is those creepy eyes, you know how when your head zooms in too far, those ones are pretty funny. But from like big roleplay events and things like that, if you guys have some, just send them to me on Discord. I'll drop them in our background folder. It's not a big thing. It's not something I'm going to be like, and this is what we're going to strive for from now on. It's just gives us a little extra stuff during the live show to stream in the background. And, some of your pictures will probably get on there because it picks it by random. So go ahead and do that. Or if you want to put them in the chat, that way everyone can see them too. You don't have to send them specifically to me and like hog them all to myself. You could actually just put them in the chat channel and share them too, and I can grab them off of that. The last bit of news is we are, of course, a call-in talk show because we're talking and you can call in through rpmmoradio.com/Discord. Join our Discord server if you want to come on and talk to us live. Just put yourself in the caller waiting room. Maybe let us know in the caller details what it is you want to talk about. Today, our topic is going to be playing goofy characters, so plenty to talk about. Good experiences, bad experiences, what your experience has been. If there's anything from past shows you want to talk about, we're cool. We're pretty easy going here. I mean, Jazz might say some nasty things about you, but that's, it's just how she is. She's you should hear her before the show. She's like talking to her kids. She's like, "All right, guys, please, I need you guys to calm down and keep it down." And she's that vicious.
Sweetest lady ever.
Mm-hmm. You know I love you, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so since we didn't do it last week, what have everybody been doing in roleplay? Anything groundbreaking, character developing, anything like that?
Well,
all right, good show. No. I just love doing that. There's always the
you
pause.
You have to tell somebody who to talk. You're the boss.
I know.
You're so awful.
I know. That's exactly why I do it, because I'm the boss.
Yes.
What's up, Jazz? What you got?
Well, I had some development on an RP line between one of Strayface's characters and one of mine, where we're developing. His character has a twin, and we're developing that role play as to where he's going to show up or if he's going to show up and what some of the possible twists and turns might be that could be triggered. So it's been a lot of fun developing that on various characters that are involved. I really haven't had much time to do anything else. So
it sounds like you've had the same week I've had.
Oh, it's been I got a new job, and so I've been really stressed.
By the way, congratulations.
Oh,
congrats.
Yeah, this will be her last time on the show. No, no, it's a really glad for you, because she'll be having, what is it, Monday through Friday kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's a
more
Monday
stable
through Friday.
Hours, more money.
Well, I'll still be working for the same company I'm working for now, but part-time. So I'm actually working more hours, not less.
Yeah.
At least initially.
But you'll be making more money, too,
a lot
with the hours that you're
yes.
exchanging.
I'm keeping the crappy pay that I'm in right now for this part-time job, but then the full-time job is a decent pay jump up.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's nice.
Over $400.
Over $3. It's over $3 an hour bump. So
yeah, that's quite. That's a significant. You know, everyone's like, I saw somebody. You know, I won't get it. I saw someone say like $1,000 is not that big a deal. I'm like,
really?
How out of touch are you?
Yeah, it's like
that's
what
a
the
lot
fuck
of money.
are you talking about?
That's like a lot of money. Mister.
For the majority,
I'll take this $20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like if I find a quarter on the ground, I'm like, wow, cool.
4 more of these, and I can buy a piece of gum.
Right, or I can
Actually,
get something out of a vending machine.
Yeah, or you could get like that little coin-operated thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I love those things.
It's always a surprise.
Yeah. The only problem with them is when we were kids, they were a quarter. Now it's like you got to put like a roll of quarters into those fucking things at Walmart.
And then it gets stuck, and you're like,
get stuck.
Okay.
So, how about you, Sib? Anything?
Doing character development on Knife, who I gave up Ian for because I just couldn't do the guy thing. So I put her in the Servants of the Tribunal, and I feel like it's going really good. I'm having a lot of fun with it, getting to know people. And let's see, I've been RPing with some of the other guild that I'm in, Alanu, and well, just a couple of them. But I've had fun doing it, getting back into the actual RPing and evolving characters, and that's about it. I've actually been on every night though this week except for last night.
Yes, you have. It's been nice to see you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then she went and took a nap until the next morning.
My allergies were so bad yesterday because the wind here. I mean, it was just horrible.
We had 30 or 40 mile an hour wind. It was a night. It wasn't a bad day temperature
Well,
wise,
did you
but
fly?
Almost.
That'd be amazing. Just get like a huge ass light blanket and just spread your arms and just kind of just float away.
Yeah,
that's what I felt like I was doing. So my allergies just were killing me. So I ended up going to bed early last night.
That's happened to me. It's rapid change in weather up here, up north, northeast. It's a rapid change in the pressure, air pressure, and all that. It's really messing with my head. Been kind of going a little insane, but that's all right.
Who would have thought nerds that play roleplay have allergies?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to use lots of Zyrtec and Benadryl.
Stereotype.
Oh God, you're gonna make me puke.
So what about you?
It's gone from 20 below to 50 degrees.
Yeah, today was 60.
In a week. Yeah, ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. It felt nice, but my head was like, no.
Yeah.
Sorry, hon, it's not happening today.
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to look out through your eyeballs here. Let me push those out of your sockets for you. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I had one little thing I wanted to talk to about my roleplay. We did training, ordinator training on Monday.
Yeah.
And it's every Monday. But I've really enjoyed this because it's always something different. And I know this last Monday, the high ordinator, Lilel, she had brought in minotaurs. Well, you get to like do the battle or combat RP, and you get your turn. Well, then she does, what happens after you do whatever you do. Anyway, there was one thing that totally missed. I was having a rough night Monday night. I totally missed her saying that one of the minotaurs had got killed, and it was the one I was attacking. So apparently somebody had thrown a fireball at it, burn it to ash. So it turned into ash right in front of me. So instead of getting upset and being like, well, dang it, recon that,
I can't help that
I just rolled with it, which is, you can do. And I just swung my mace through the ash, got a face full of ash, blew it back out, and just continued on with my RP.
Hey, you know what they say? Rule 34 of Zombieland, double tap.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, even if it's ash, you gotta make sure it's dead. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta make sure that ash is down for the count.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I just wanted to throw that out there. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, it made me realize, okay, I can't get upset. I just have to keep rolling with it. So
Right, and it was
Yeah.
a
I said, just
simple,
swing through
simple.
that.
Simple, it's a lot of things in these trainings and all these combat events that we do, the style that we have them. A lot of times you have to whisper the specific DM if they miss you, or else
Mhm.
they'll just kind of just be passed along without even them knowing. I know it's happened to me a lot in the past when I've DM'd an event. I sometimes miss 2 or 3
Definitely.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't.
No, I'm not saying
she
definitely. I'm just
miss-
saying it definitely happens.
She didn't
Yeah.
miss
Oh, yeah.
me.
Yeah, you
I
always
missed-
miss everybody. You're terrible.
I miss everybody. That way
Well-
there's no event. Haha.
But she didn't miss me. I missed her, and then I missed the
Oh,
player
okay.
Yeah,
who-
she
who actually
misread that
killed-
she didn't
yeah.
realize
Oh,
that when
okay.
she
Did
was
it burn
attacking
it up?
turned
So
to
it
ash.
wasn't Lil L's fault. It was mine for not actually
Right.
catching all the details. And me and Ashton had a huge talk about this earlier today about how some people have that way of seeing, like if you read or
Yep.
somebody describes like
Yep.
a combat situation to you.
Spatial cognition, like
Yeah,
being able to
and
keep
I
in your
told him,
mind what it,
In my mind,
what
I
it
can't
is.
I can't lay that down in combat. And I think that's why I always shy away from the combat role play, because I
Right.
cannot get it in my head. Anything else, like if I'm in a room, like at a
If
a
you
ball
can
or
see the
something, or
characters and stuff and
it's-
everything.
I
too.
can focus on that. Whenever it's combat, it's a little bit different for me, and I've got to learn.
Especially
try
when
to,
it's invisible
you know-
bad
It
guys
just
like this
takes
was.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I
I
always
also think
do.
it
I've
might
never-
help if you either went to or watched some like battle shows, like fighting, like boxing, things like that.
We
Yeah,
watch
I'm
a
not
lot
a
of
big-
Or
we watch a
MMA.
lot. Yeah, we watch a lot of anime, which has a lot of fighting. And
Yeah.
stuff.
That's not quite the same thing.
Well,
I'm not like
well, no. What I'm meaning is what we're talking about, not so much like how to fight, because she's
Well,
actually
no,
pretty good with
I
that.
know. I'm not
but-
saying that's not it, but when you go to, that's what helped me is I started watching them more. I've been in them. I've even participated and actually been one of the fighters in martial arts. So it's that part I know, but watching it helped me to get it in my head when it was happening, because you're not seeing it. You're not physically
it's
watching
all-
it. It's
Yeah.
got to
Yeah,
happen
it's
in your head.
It's like reading a fight, like just like
Yeah.
a book, obviously. But yeah, sometimes well, and of course on those things, it depends on the level of detail given to you as well, especially during like live events like Loa's doing. She's very good at making sure you
Mhm.
know where each like invisible character, like in this case it was Minotaur's bad guy is. But sometimes, like what Sib did, she just missed that it turned to ash. I didn't even read that part. I completely missed it. So her
And the
just
funny thing is, I think it was your character that turned it to ash.
no, I turned
Ironic.
I burned another one actually.
Oh,
I was
okay.
over with Travis, but
So
Still
somebody-
ironic.
Still ironic, just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Turned to ash.
but the thing is too, like in something like Elder Scrolls, if you like, if you just go off of like I guess what you would consider the lore of how quickly something turns to ash in that game, it's like a snap of a finger. So you in mid swing and someone else zaps it and it just goes. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfectly
Yeah.
plausible. I mean, shoot, I do that in the game when something goes. I'm still swinging my sword around. So, it was a good catch on your part, huh?
But no, it was something that it stuck out with me, because like I said, it's something I have to work on, just doing the combat RP, because I am not.
Not used to it, or
No, I really am
Right.
not. I
Yeah,
always,
that's my thing. More
I've
than
always
hers.
been the healer, or and I've never
Right.
been anybody that has. I've always role played characters that
She
are
plays
like
a lot of vanilla characters.
really vanilla, like
Yeah.
okay.
Knife having ice and wind at her ability, magic ability. It's totally different for me. So this is going to be a challenge in a different way, but I think I'm having a lot more fun with this than I was with Ian.
Well, that's good.
And I was actually playing Ian as a vanilla character. So it's something different,
It's
but I
hard
wanted to
play
throw
a
that out
vanilla
there.
character in a game where nobody, like
Mm.
nobody's really vanilla, because magic is such a prevalent thing in like a game like Elder Scrolls and so many other, like it's way easy to do in like Lord of the Rings online, because very few people really have magic in a game like that.
Mhm,
But in this one, they, magic dust,
mhm. Okay, I'm done now. Next.
So what about you, Kishmas? You got anything?
Well, I need to start keeping a journal of my RP adventures because a lot of times I just lose track of things.
That's why I write it
But
down and things.
I guess
I think that
some
happens.
notable events that have been happening is Raj's wife, Neth, got promoted to Yalif of Doctrine.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was a pretty big story development on her side.
Yeah, especially
That's
given
not even
her
really my
past of
RP,
it.
but,
Yeah.
shout out.
Yeah, but it still is going to affect him.
Yeah.
Oh,
of course. Oh, he's
because now she's going to be
super...
even more bossy than normal.
Uh,
Sorry, Neth, I had to.
You know what they say? Happy wife, happy life. That's the way it is.
That's the rumor.
He hasn't discovered that yet.
I'm still waiting.
Just wait. Our love is fattening.
It is.
A wife's love
A
is
wife's
fattening.
love is fattening. Look at any married man and tell me he hasn't probably gained some weight. Jazz, can Jay attest to this?
He actually lost weight with me.
Oh.
He doesn't love
because... No, he was only eating pasta and meat when I met him.
He was on
That's
the man
it.
diet. He was on the man diet.
And so when he met me, his meat consumption got cut in half, and he suddenly had to eat just fruits and vegetables. So he actually lost weight when we got together.
How can you cut meat?
Okay, I'm
Out
gonna
of a meat
send.
diet.
Hold on, Kishmas. I'm sending him a text now that he has a safe place with me and you, and that he can come and talk to us anytime, and we can talk.
Like
over
I'm having a hard time parsing this.
Yes.
How can you? Meat is glorious.
Let's have a moment of silence for all the mistakes that Jay has missed out on.
He gets it. It's just not as much, y'all. That man was gonna die of stuffed arteries by the time.
You mean happy? He was gonna die happy.
With a smile on his face.
He was going to die happy.
And I ruined that. Yes.
Now
well, I
he's gonna
hope if
die
you cook his
married.
meat, it's actually medium rare.
Actually, I liked it. When we first got together, he liked it well done, medium well. I know. I like it barely, no longer breathing. So,
you're the Dennis Leary. Just bring out the whole cow. I'll carve off what I want and ride the rest home.
I really like my meat pretty raw. And that sounds so wrong.
That's what she said. Oh
yeah,
my. Tube steak. All right.
Oh my god. I'm taking his microphone away.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Rip.
Right. Okay, so on Tarvala, really the only meaningful thing I had, I guess, this week was unfortunately...
Hey, wait a minute. Was Kishmas done?
Oh, yeah. Were you done?
Well, there really hasn't been any very big events. I mean, Raj is compiling all of his works that he's done into a little book, a little testament that he's going to pass out to his war ordinators.
That's me.
Yes.
And me. I'm going to be one.
Maybe.
Perfect.
You got to pass your trial of mercy on Tuesday, though. I don't know.
Studying.
I'm going to find somebody to give me some notes.
But, yeah, I'm talking with Raj, Tarvala and Raj just talk about the Yalif thing, too, is pretty much in getting to kill two of the... She got the final hit on, two of the Minotaurs, so that was pretty sweet. She likes to be... There's a benefit when things always go alphabetical and you're usually at the end of the line.
Right.
She almost always gets the final blow. Which makes her feel powerful. She is strong.
It's also kind of hard in those combat styles, and the way they're DM'd and the way we go in alphabetical order, because sometimes the leaders are in the back or in the middle of the alphabetical order, so you can't shout out commands because people are already doing actions, and then
yeah, I tried that this time, shouting out, to shout to do stuff.
Pre-battle commands, yeah.
Right, it didn't do anything.
Yeah, because they're like, what? Charge!
It's like, all right, everybody, melee.
Everyone do this, and this.
It's
like,
a ballroom blitz. Cue the music. But yeah, it was her and Raj talking was probably. It's been a kind of a busy week for me. I've had other things going on and playing a couple other games, and most of the week I was out on my ass because I bruised my tailbone. Actually, During the episode last week, that's why I don't know if anyone noticed the end of the episode with Smiling last week. I started getting a little quiet towards the end, and that was because it was really, really starting to hurt. And
Ouch.
Apparently
You should get a foam thing so you can sit on it.
You know what?
Oh,
we
he's
did.
got a donut.
We got a donut. It hurt more. It hurt so much more to sit on that thing.
Oh.
Oh, it was intensely painful to sit on one of those things. That was worse than my chair. She took me made me go to the doctor, and
Good. What'd they say?
I got a shot in my ass. I am beefy and full of steroids now. I could be in the Olympics. Yeah.
I kind of doubt that.
Yeah.
With his ass, his glorious ass.
I've heard people say they bruise their tailbones before, and I've always like, it's like it's not even a real thing, like, no, apparently that motherfucker hurts. I didn't realize how much, like every twist and turn, every flex of your mighty buttocks, it just shoots intense pain right through your soul.
Yep.
The worst thing was,
I can already feel it.
Yeah, that night I had accidentally rolled over onto my back, and so my ass had just gone like painfully numb, and I couldn't sleep after that. I couldn't stand. I couldn't sit comfortably.
Yeah, it's awful.
I sat for 3 days on my recliner like a little old man sitting on a heating blanket. I was like, if this what's getting old is like? I'm used to it. I can do this. I can do this. I can totally sit in my recliner with the heating pad on my ass and just watch. I binged the shit out of TV shows, so it wasn't all bad. It was it hurt to poop. I'm just gonna say there was painful poops. It hurt.
Ooh, I feel you.
Yeah, I'd never bruised anything like that before, so that was a new experience. So I actually have sympathy, and that was just a bruise. If you broke that thing and had to wait for that stupid bone to heal, jeez.
Oh, I have bounced down the stairs and I cracked my tailbone.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really awful. It takes about 8 weeks to heal.
Yeah, so, that's what they were saying, and it still hurts a little bit, but with the all that, I had the steroid shot, and then I had steroids given to me, and then ibuprofen and all that stuff. I'm doing fine now. It's not so bad, but that and Dragon Ball FighterZ came out on Friday, and there was a beta. I love that game. It was awesome. All right, so let's go. Actually, before we do that, there is one thing I wanted to hit up on, and that's a Sea of Thieves beta. I know we've talked about Sea of Thieves before. It's the pirate game from Microsoft. It's going to be out on Xbox, which obviously probably not a lot of roleplay been going on there. And it's going to be on PC as well. But the pre-order beta is going on. It's having some troubles. But also recently, I think this last week or the week before, Microsoft announced that it's got I forget what it's called, Games of Service or something like game service game thingy. But for $10 a month, you can get all of Microsoft's like studio-made games, things like Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. And they announced that in that, which is a back catalog of like 100 games, but in that now, for $10 a month, games that come out, like Sea of Thieves, will be available to play day one. So instead of having to pay $60 to try the game, you can do the $10 a month thing, get to download it, and play it as if you owned it. Of course, would give it's probably shoot for that. I'll probably sign up for that service and just to try it out when it actually goes live on my computer,
Yeah.
And
live.
We'll do it live. So I've no idea if you can role play in Sea of Thieves yet. I don't know a whole lot about it. I've not looked too much into it, but like seriously, for $10 a month to get over 100 games for one, and then you might be able to play this kind of MMO on your computer. That's not too bad. And of course, if you do the $10 and it turns out you play it for a month and like, well, this game's garbage and there's nothing gonna happen here, cancel it. You're not out of anything, and you just saved yourself $50.
Yep.
I only putting that out there because it seemed like something to good. So because the game is actually, if you just buy it flat out, it's a solid $60 at launch. So just giving people an extra option because Microsoft gave us that option.
Yeah.
And it's probably something I'll do. I've been curious to try it and to see if it's something people might be able to role play in. because there's no pirate. There's really not really any pirate MMOs out there that I'm aware of. Does anybody know that's like specifically based around that? I know there's ones that have stuff in it, like BDO has some shipping stuff in it, but it's not.
Isn't
really
there like Pirates 101?
Yeah, but that's Pirates 101. That's not Pirates 101. You have to say bench instead of bitch because it's a kids game, and kids will always find a way to cuss because that's why you don't change words and use other stuff, is because if whatever the word was, they'll just change it to something else that's not filtered, and it means literally the exact same thing. So don't bother. Just keep the language out as it is. So with that said, I guess we'll go ahead. Before we hit our main topic, we can all do a word from our sponsor. Yes. Hello, you there. Why am I wearing this mask and hood, you ask? Well, because I feel like it. Who doesn't like wearing a rat mask? Or maybe a Groot mask? No? You don't like either? Well, what's wrong with yous? Maybe you should head down to Boomba's Masks and Hoods consignment shop. Yes, this is the same Boomba who runs Boomba's Pickle People. Where do you think he gets all these fine clothes? I hear you can get anything that you wish. Sometimes I feel like a fish. I put on the mask. Bap! I am a fish. Fishy, fishy. Then there are other times I feel like I'm being a little mustachioed Italian guy who wear overall. I put on mask and ooh, here we go. Anyway, heads on down to Boomba's and pick out special masks that makes you hapsies. Whether it be Draft, or maybe Ogre, or even the Johnny Depp. We don't judge. Okay, we judge a little. Also, when you buy 2 masks, you get a free pickle mask. Boomba special. Only do it with my name. Who doesn't want to be a pickle every now and then? Everybody like a little pickle now and then. Am I right? No? Okay, I'm not asking you. Boomba is located in Merchant District in Freeport. Tell them Risk 60s sends you. Oh, shh. Hey, shh. The guards are coming. I must go. Feel like the wind. Shady.
A little bit of shady.
That was hilarious. I love your voices. And God, that was good.
That was written by Sib.
Very good, Sib. That was hilarious.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be helpful.
She's trying to be helpful. She's writing up some of the show notes in our outlines.
Yay,
Like
good
a
job.
good girl. So, playing goofy characters. Just don't do it. The end. No, I'm just kidding.
Bye, everybody!
Good night, everybody. Certain tip your waitress. Try the veal. It's actually something. I mean, it happens in roleplay everywhere. Has anybody else not seen someone trying to play something goofy in any game ever at all?
My husband was really into that, and he had a couple of characters because his character was so serious in EQ2, and he had a lot of stress, obviously, as the commander of the Silver Circle. So he also had a couple of secret characters. I don't think most people knew about them. One was Tone Deaf, who was a troll.
Ha.
Troll bar.
Irony.
I was gonna say that one makes sense.
And it was TOHNDAEFFE or something like that. It was misspelled, but if you didn't look at it, you didn't realize it was Tone Deaf. And so you'd go, "Oh, hi, Tone," or Tohun, or however they would pronounce it. But his name was Tone Deaf, and most people didn't get that. He's always been like that. So he also had a gnome. I forget what his gnome's name was, but he purposely said everything in the longest possible way with the biggest possible words. Hilarious.
See, now that's like that's a good, because let's be honest, there's people like that.
Yes, there are.
Those
and he was hilarious. He worked for Vaca, and he would come in and everybody hated him. And most people had no idea it was Triton.
Yeah. No, he really was
Now,
a good role player.
yeah.
He just didn't
Yes.
do
He
it
just
all
did
that
it.
often.
Yeah. He really was more into those kinds of characters that made you think. And I think most people between you and Triton, you guys rolled most of our either bad guys or extras.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Because
like
both
doing
of you
that,
did
yeah.
it so well, and it was so much fun. And he kept a couple of them. Tone Deaf was one, and and I can't think of his name. Jason will be so disappointed in me because he loved that gnome. But yeah, I've never been one to do that, but my husband does.
Yeah. Yeah, and and that's there's the various kinds of them. There's the ones that you like they're actually like one of my favorite of all time was, of course, I've mentioned it before, was Professor Reedy. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That guy was absolutely brilliant and amazing at doing that. It was always funny. Let's try and see something here. There we go. But then there's, so a lot of times they can really get annoying too. That's the thing. There's good ways and there's bad ways to play a goofy character. And some of them, the ones that completely basically, ignore everything around them and the fact that people maybe aren't digging on it, that's not always the best way to do it. And then there's ways like that where it's not necessarily like the character itself is purposely retarded or stupid. It's just that maybe they've got a quirk, like what you said with the guy that likes to use long-winded words to say basic stuff.
And Tone Deaf always talked in rhyme.
Right. Yeah. See, and things
so
like
it was
that.
always really fun. I always enjoyed his
like that one G.I. Joe character. I forget his name that always spoke in rhymes. I don't remember that. I love that. I was trying to say what? But I had meant to actually try to find something for that Redeep had written to give that as
Redeep. That was his name. God, I love that guy.
Yeah, Redeep was great.
Quizzing Vok about where she kept her egg sack.
Right. Yeah, and asking if you were in, because he was a frog lock, so he didn't know the difference between the sexes of mammals and stuff like that. So he always was getting it wrong. He would always, ask somebody if their skin looked glistening, so they must be getting ready to come onto their mating season, or where how many eggs that they could lay in a single time, and how many kids they may have had from that brood, even though it was like a elf. So, but I don't want to, because I don't want to like insult anybody that plays a goofy character, but yeah, we're probably going to anyway. So may as well just go full bore. Know that I don't mean anything necessarily maliciously, because it is.
I do.
Yeah, he will. Well, and like, I don't mind if that's what you like, but there's a lot of different ways to go about it. One, two, if you're gonna do that, can't get pissed off when people don't take it seriously. When they don't take your not serious character seriously, that's what do you think was going to happen? It's
yeah, exactly.
You can't get bent out of shape over that. But I also wanted to go into the good and bad ways of doing those kinds of things, like how far is too far, like maybe, and reading the room and things like that. So I know one example, Sib, you had with your Yuri.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I created her, and her background was she had watched her parents get killed, and she was kind of just out there. Like, I played her super smart on technical stuff. Like, she was a mechanic, airship mechanic, and she could take one apart and put it back together, no problem. Anything mechanical, it just clicked. But she was very a little bit further than naive. And so it was, and I will say it was difficult to play because people just didn't take her seriously. And so it was, I tried and tried and tried, and it just, I could not get it to fit. She was just kind of like an outsider. So
yeah, a lot of people thought she was just simple,
simple,
mentally retarded. Yeah,
but no, and it's difficult. I mean, you really, if you're gonna make that kind of commitment, you're gonna have to be in for the long haul. I say, you're gonna have to make sure people. I think you have to put the time in, for the people to get to know the character and, understand. Because with a character like that, I feel like there's a lot to understand. And, a lot of people aren't willing to take that time to get to know that character.
Yeah.
So,
And part of that, I wonder, is probably because they don't know if is it worth investing time to get to know it? Because
Well,
are you just
yeah.
gonna keep doing this? Is this all there is to it, and it's just a shtick, or is there more underneath?
And I'm sure there's also the fact that people might have thought me a troll because I was playing a character like this. I don't know. There's a lot of aspects to this that we're gonna go over, I'm sure, but it's not easy. And some of them I can deal with. Some I'm like, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I don't just instantly say, okay, I'm not dealing with this because I don't like your type of role play because it's silly to me. So I just kind of try to keep an open mind.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm just kidding.
All right, Raj. Or not. Sorry, I keep on you, Raj. Kishmas, what do you think on goofy characters? Let's hear it. Just get it out there.
Oh boy. I don't. See, it's a case-by-case basis on that.
I'm much the same way on that one. Yeah, it goes. There's some people that do it fantastically, and other ones it's like you don't know if they're actually just like the long haul troll, or if that is what they just enjoy. That it's just not your thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing to deal with that. It's just I don't know. I see a lot of it as griefing and trolling, as they said in the chat, but it's just.
I think it can be really hard to tell if they're just griefing you or if they're,
yeah,
I would never have thought that Triton was griefing anybody. You could tell that it was an actual character. It was just being that way. But there were characters, particularly in EQ2, where, like that one troll chick that was always coming on to elves.
Yeah,
And,
I think I remember.
I mean, who wouldn't come on to elves?
Right.
Yeah, but she was a troll. And she took it silly personal if your character didn't like trolls and they were an elf. Now, I didn't mind the roleplay per se, and I came to understand she just was a little sensitive when people would be very xenophobic. But that's part of the character. I mean, if you're going to be a troll coming on to elves, you need to be prepared for them to be xenophobic.
Right.
So it just kind of depends on how people take it.
Yeah.
I tend to be a little bit snappy about it unless I figure it out fast, and I apologize then when I'm like, "Oh, you're not a troll. I'm sorry."
Yeah, and it's one of the things too. Somebody mentioned for Honduran. There's a character for those that don't RP and ESO. I know a lot of our listeners are ESO players, so I'm going to explain it to those that aren't. He's an Argonian that plays kind of a goofy thing. He's always praising dirt. Things like that, and a lot of times, he's definitely one of those sort of goofy kind of silly characters, and I know he rubs some people wrong ways, and others, totally play along with it. I know, like, troll-wise, I can see where he comes off as a troll, but he's constantly there. He does everything. He's part of the community and stuff, so I really don't think he is specifically probably. I hope not, because that is a long haul. If you are,
no comment.
Right? Well,
Well, no, and you can have a comment about it.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I mean,
it's part of the show. If you got your opinion, just say it.
We're not going to all agree. I mean,
way back before Morrowind and all these DLCs came out, I didn't mind that kind of role play. I liked it in moderation. And when things started to get a little spicy, I had to start, thinning my patience, to deal with things systematically and, deal with all this drama. And, a lot of things came up and I just started, putting things on the back burner, Honduran being one of them. And I don't know the guy, sometimes I'd like to know the guy, but, it's just, I've dealt with so many trolls and griefers,
Yep.
so I really can't, go back on it. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I'll have a different
which is
air about it. But in the meantime, I just have to do what I keep on doing without getting headaches.
You do just because if it's not your style of roleplay, then
it's not my style. Yeah,
right.
I'll probably get a lot of heat for that, but you know what? That's fine.
But that's fine.
No,
that's part of the show, and that's
the thing.
you're not required to roleplay with everybody that comes up to you, and that's that's your time as well. And if you're not into that kind of thing, then you're not into that kind of thing.
Well, I know we discussed that one role player that played a tablecloth in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I would not have seriously. I would not have anything to do with that kind of role play. I would not want to be.
It was,
and I know that sounds awful and petty, but
actually
it's not,
definitely a troll on that
I would
one.
want to, yeah, but still.
Now, I saw him in Final Fantasy, and I watched him for a while, and I finally figured out that it's just kind of his thing. I would never roleplay with them.
Right, it was a goofy, silly thing, and in fact, the role players actually tried to have the GMs come in and remove him, and they were like, and the guy, I think the guy, like you said, Jazz, because I saw it too, and I actually watched that just because I was fascinated by it, and the guy legitimately liked playing the tablecloth thing because it wasn't like a one weekend thing.
This was definitely a thing for him. This was
have like an example, like an emote, because I would really like to know.
It was a Lalafell, and what they would do is they would lay down in the middle of a table. Sometimes there weren't even people at it, and it would just emote things that happened to a tablecloth. Has drinks set down on top of it, and it's fine linen. It's fine linen folds flapping in the breeze as somebody comes in.
Yeah, seriously. And it was a fetish. It really was a fetish.
Yeah, it was, which
made you feel like you needed to take a shower, but at the same time, that's their thing, and I'm not gonna interact with them. But
no, I wouldn't.
I'm also not going to be bad to them or mad. I just didn't. And when he was like, come over here and sit, he sent me a towel. And I was like, dude, I don't mean any disrespect, but I have enough trouble dealing with idiots and fools. I don't want to attract them by playing with the tablecloth.
Right.
I
would love to play with the tablecloth. You kidding me?
It was, and that
was, I blow my nose and all that good stuff.
And that was the thing, too, because when the GMs came in, they were like, okay, are you, they talked with him, and they actually, and he actually shared it on the roleplay forum. He's like, and it showed like, no, I'm legitimately here to roleplay as a tablecloth. And their GMs were like, guys, we can't do anything about him. He's not broken any rules. He's not violated anything.
He's not disruptive.
So
he wasn't.
He's not spamming the channel about how you dropped your fork on him, or something like that, or how you spilled wine. So yeah, they couldn't do nothing about him. But
hey. We've got a caller.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Yeah, I was going to go ahead and go over and drag her down. We got Gangsy Girl on the line, and I'll go ahead and put her on there. Gangsy, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Hi, Gangsy.
How you doing? What you got?
Hello.
Oh, well,
Oh, are you there?
Hello?
Did we listen?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I closed my you were playing in the background.
The old radio feedback thing. We need you to turn your radio down in the background, please.
Yeah. But I'm so glad you brought this up because this reminds me of a tune I loved playing for many years. I originally created this goofy-looking Argonian with this derpy face and huge eyes with he was scrawny with big hands, and they named him Knack Knack. It's supposed to be based on Moon Moon. But
Knack.
I actually ended up falling in love with him, and I already tortured my friends by doing puns, and somehow I got...
You're the one in the guild that does that. There's always one punny person.
Yes.
Hey.
I'm also...
My son is one
Hats
of those
off.
people.
But
A punny person.
So I went around dressed in this purple and green garb way before the actual Jester costume came out.
Yeah, there's a picture of it in the RPMMORadio chat if anyone wants to see it.
Yeah, and I would have him, go around to different inns and pubs and tell jokes. His goal was to make everybody laugh at least once. And I would actually go my way to try and come up with these horrible Elder Scroll puns. One of my personal favorites that I actually made up was, why do Hlalu have such large egos?
Why do
because
what
they're
now?
narcissistic.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
It ended up paying off because there was a couple years back, there was a New Life Festival talent show. And I went up there and I would tell jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up being in first place.
Yeah, I've always wondered
awesome.
That's cool.
if stand-up comedy in those things ever works. I've seen people try to do it. The problem with some of that is they're not funny people to start with, so the character doesn't translate into being any funnier than the actual player.
Right.
So there's little things like that. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
That is cool.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's just my little story.
Yeah, but so did you ever have like a character like yours was actually one I actually, because of what you had put on there, I actually added that kind of to the notes. Like as a goofy character, like Jester kind of like, what's the other dude that plays ESO? Sadri? Is that his name?
Sajik, yeah.
Yes, he's
Sadri,
actually
yes.
my guild.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. He's supposed to, he's supposed to be some powerful mage too, but he's also some kind of a jester guy. I know my character doesn't like him because they had they got into it, but it's literally for that, it's clear that's only, she just doesn't, the characters don't like each other because they had a falling out because of something Kishmas did. It's all his fault. Really.
Oh, it's all my fault. Here we go.
When you banned, it was remember when you banned him from the bottom layer of the Abbey because he was puking up butterflies?
Making me puke up butterflies.
Yeah.
Roger's like, what are you doing? This is bullcrap.
And then Tarvala thought it was an attack from Sheogorath, so of course she after somebody had just actually been possessed by one of those Daedric spirits of Sheogorath. So she's not magically smart like that. She saw puking butterflies. She doesn't know the difference between a butterfly and a moth. And so she was like, raise the alarm, we're under attack. And that was
DEFCON 2.
That was the last straw for Roger and like the character, and he's like, "That's it. You know what? Fucking out of here." And yeah, it didn't. They blamed each other for that. Sadri and Tarvala did, which was all fun. I actually like the guy personally, but
the Jester
but
thing
like
was
jester
something
characters, that makes sense because there are jesters. I mean, there's a whole fucking outfit you can buy in ESO. So now you don't have to make one up.
I actually don't like the outfit. I prefer the one I.
I actually am not a fan either. It's a little too out there.
The only thing I have, Netback has gone through a couple of robes, but the thing that always stays the same is he always has that simple-looking Khajiit light helm on his head.
That purple helmet thingy.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the original reason I chose it was I thought it made him look like a superhero.
It actually does.
It
I had the
does.
same thought.
The best part was, during seasons, it would change. Like during the spring, it would change to like pastel colors. During Halloween, it would be orange and black. And during Christmas, it would be red and green.
Yeah. No, yeah, he looks like cat. Or she look. Is it he? I forget. He or she.
Knack is a guy, but everyone always was looking for a girl.
Right. Yeah. It's like Captain. It looks like Captain like grape soda. Captain Grape Soda.
Play him, but I don't play with him anymore.
Captain Crush. But no, that's and like I said, jesters are definitely one of those ones you can get away with in an MMO, especially a fantasy one. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to do in like Star Citizen. Probably not going to go over too well in a game like that because it changes game to game. Jesters in space is probably not really a thing, although I would watch it on Cartoon Network. But
yeah, but you have to find a balance because you can't be like in people's faces.
Yeah, because you can't always be the super, secret. I'm a jester, but secretly I could destroy the world. It's like you're not Kefka, and this isn't Final Fantasy VI, so that's not gonna work. That actually was the plot of Final Fantasy VI.
And you walk away.
Yeah, but that's cool. You have anything else you want to share?
No, he's pretty much my only silly character.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Gangsy. I'm always glad to have you on. You have a good night.
Later, Gangsy.
Bye-bye.
So, appreciate her calling in. If I can, there we go. Again, anybody that wants to call in, just throw yourself into our caller waiting room. We want to hear any characters you've had, any experiences you've had with goofy characters, if you like them, if you don't like them. Just rpmmoradio.com/Discord if you haven't joined our Discord server. We would appreciate it, and we always like hearing from you guys. I don't know why, but I mean, I guess it's it's part of the show. It's kind of fills some time. No, we really do appreciate it. It's always cool
Yeah.
that you guys even like care to even tune in.
Actually listen to us. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so like Yuri had. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm choking. One of my, I think the goofiest character I've probably ever played. I'm typically, for the most part, even for like my attitude too, I think I'm like Kishmas, where I typically only like to really roleplay serious characters. Like for any length of time, I don't really stick with the goofy. Like I'll make an NPC here and there.
Yeah, goofy NPCs and goofy characters are way different.
Right,
I've made tons of goofy NPCs. Like I had an
to help
event
out with stuff
last summer who was like this Golden Saint of Sheogorath, who like had his pet troll, like river troll in a cave, and he was messing with the ordinators and all that. That's the farthest I've gone in the goofiness spectrum, and even then it wasn't even that goofy.
Yeah, then that's more Sheogorath is like he's goofy like the Joker from Batman is goofy in a way. So it's
like Heath
it's also
Ledger
deadly.
Joker from the movies.
Yeah, it's a deadly kind of it's a deadly sort of joking kind of thing.
I'm pretty sure that's who Sheogorath is based.
It has to be because, like, dude, the guy that did the voices, especially at ESO, he's fucking totally ripping Mark Hamill off.
Of course.
I mean, he's just the only difference is they gave him is it Irish accent? I think.
I'll have to relook that up.
Yeah. When he's taught, he's always like, "Oh, Shally, me boy, what do you bring going in here?" Yeah, that's Irish. So. He's like, "Oh, you know what I like? Cotton candy on top of me toes." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like an Irish Mark Hamill Joker, which, I mean, I think the guy actually does good. The character actually wears, they use it so much, even like the goofy character in the game starts to wear thin after a while in the plot lines. It's like, all right, I get it.
One and done. Never again.
Yeah, once was enough, guys. Give me stop.
I get it. You're silly. You're hilarious. It's like those people that are like, "Oh, I just do the craziest things when I drink." Yeah, we get it. You didn't end up pointing out. We can watch. We're watching this horrible shit show happen before us. You don't need to tell us you're crazy when you drink, Stephanie. Sorry, that's the only name I could think of that sounds like someone that would say that. But no, one of my characters was Bargnar, who was a dwarf, and I think dwarves are kind of one of those ones that can get away with it too. But he was silly in a sort of, in a somewhat realistic way. He was kind of, before I even knew what Drax was, because Guardians of the Galaxy had come out, but he was very literal. Like, he took things very literally to the point of comedy, like he also, he didn't really like believe everything he saw. So like one of the characters was a stealthy character. She like vanished in front of him, and he was like, she's a ghost. Yeah. Everybody, there's a ghost in the house. Yeah, come attack it. We got to kill it and get it out of here. It's gonna rearrange the furniture or whatever.
See, I always see dwarves as unintentionally goofy.
Right, and that's exactly how he was. But he was Bargnar and Vil Crusher, and he would do that. He always wore his armor, and he would, anytime he would, Jazz knows because she always saw him on Vacarina, but he would always greet everybody at the beginning of meetings and stuff by smashing his gauntlet against his iron chest, and with a loud clang and things like, he was like his own little doorbell every time he entered the room.
Yeah, I know.
Just like gong, and it was just one of those things. And some people didn't like him. Mm-mm. No, they didn't like him.
Yeah,
they didn't.
I know, and people would say things to me.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
And she was like, "He's a dwarf. What do you want?"
Yeah, and he was one of those. We didn't have. It was largely elves and stuff in that guild.
Yeah. And we had a couple trolls, we had a couple ogres, we had a couple dwarves, but most of them didn't play. You played him, and I was fantastically happy about that. But we had a couple people who were just
We left.
No,
I
she
thought
was
we-
thinking.
No, I'm thinking.
She was
We were
trying
just
to
so-
be
All of a
diplomatic.
sudden,
I'm
tramp.
trying. Yeah, I'm trying to be diplomatic here. I was always a little bit put off by the fact that these people freaked out over the fact that Wagner was a rude little shit.
Yeah.
And-
And he was. He didn't
Yeah.
give a shit what you thought of him. He was a dwarf. Yet these are
Yeah.
the same people that would also.
And he was
play
drunk. Almost always
always.
drunk.
He actually had before I stopped playing the game, he had built himself a little pallet of sheets and blankets and a bedroll in the corner of the bar area.
Yeah.
That's where he would go and drink and pass out. He was often found passed out in the bar when people would show up, and then he'd wake up and start like, "Oh, there's people. Let's celebrate with a drink."
That's hilarious. And people would say things to me about it, and I'd be like, "It's a dwarf. They're
Mhm.
supposed to be like this, guys.
That's-
He's not
Yeah.
doing
And
anything
that's-
wrong."
Yeah, and I and I understood that. I didn't, I thought it was kind of funny. But I had wanted to try and play an actual dwarf, like the dwarviest dwarf that ever dwarfed a dwarven dwarf, just
Yeah.
to see if I could challenge myself and also to kind of relax a little and have some fun and remind people you don't always have to take yourself too seriously, and especially for someone like me who often plays very serious characters. Tarvala she's got some goof in her, but she's serious. Kenix is pretty serious. Another character I have planned is going to be pretty serious. I don't play a lot of really goofy characters, so for him, he was just a dwarf. He drank. He liked to fight things. I went in perfectly willing to have him get his ass kicked if he picked a fight with somebody far more powerful. It's these things that you have to remember. And Eric Darksinger says, when you upset the status quo by being something different, it tends to unnerve a lot of role players. And that's true.
Yes,
Mhm.
that is true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
And
It's
that-
unfortunate, but it is true.
And that was the ironic part, is a lot of the people that were upset, they were the same people role playing that they were part demon or this or that. Now that
And
wasn't
you're
too
not wrong
far.
about that. That is very true. They were all the people that really hated your character or any of them that couldn't
Any of the
stand
goof-
Gormal.
it wasn't just
they
me.
couldn't-
Yeah,
No,
because they loved
but
my
they
other
didn't-
characters. They just hated
Yes.
Ragnar.
They just didn't like the fact that this person didn't take their character seriously. And I was like, that's a dwarf. Or, people were off in arms when Gormal pissed on Natish. Literally.
Oh my
beat on
god,
her.
I didn't know. I never heard about
Yeah,
that.
he
Well,
beat on her. And, Vodka...
Sorry.
Yeah,
Now,
Strafe's
Natish-
not here. He's running late.
No,
Hopefully he'll
yeah.
make it. I don't know. We're halfway
Absorbing
through the
this
show,
information.
but- Yeah.
Yes. So his character pissed on Natish, and Vodka just kind of facepalmed. She didn't get angry, but she was just like, ugh. So everyone was up in arms about it. They wanted him thrown in jail, all this other stuff. And Natish, all she did when he did it was fall over laughing. She wouldn't stop. And she was like, I guess it's a good thing I'm already yellow.
Yeah. Right.
And it was funny. And this was her.
Marking his territory or something.
Yeah. Well, he was pissed. She had said something to him or something or other, and he didn't like it. the
Oh,
character.
so he was throwing a temper tantrum. It was
Basically,
like
and
when
so
a
he
puppy gets
peed on
pissed
her,
off and pees on your shoes.
Yeah. Right. And so he peed on her. And Natish, the character, and Natish, the player, both thought it was freaking hilarious. And Vodka's sitting here going, y'all need to calm down. And he's just like, why are y'all upset? He's a troll. It's what he does.
Yeah.
And that just made Gormal even madder because, he considered himself to be above all that. But it was a great role play, but it was never forgotten.
Right. And yeah, and and that's that's one of those things, and again, like with Bargnar, I loved playing him. He was a lot of fun. I only did it in short bursts. I didn't like bring him out every single day or anything like that. But there were certain things when it's like, and I also like reading the crowd. Like if I had Bargnar out there, like if somebody was for example, like leaving the game and there, it was going to be like a tearful goodbye thing or something like that. I'm not bringing the Bargnar out because I'm going to read the audience, and that's it.
Right.
That's me taking the spotlight off of somebody trying to wrap shit up. Kind of you gotta, like a lot of role play, kind of understand the situation. Not every situation is great for kind of goofing around and things like that. I know Kishmas, we had the one thing where I know two of the characters in our guild, they created those. Remember when they made those Ixar or not? God, I always want to call them Ixar.
I know Jason keeps calling
Argonians.
Argonian and Ixar, and I'm like, Argonian, what? Argonian. Huh?
Yep.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Argonian.
You know who you are if you're listening.
Yeah.
Know exactly who you are.
But like that one went over like a it was like a wet fart in church, while you're standing in front of the audience giving the sermon. It didn't go, people at first it was kind of funny, but it was like, what was there were two Argonians that were supposed to be high on what's that shit called? Moon skooma?
Moon sugar.
Skooma
or moon sugar.
It was skooma.
Skooma,
yeah.
moon sugar, same thing. Whatever.
Yeah. One leads to the other.
Yeah.
But and they were running around, but the problem was it was also got a little god moddy in it, which is another thing that can happen when someone just wants to play a random goofy character.
Your Kishmas over there going,
That's not him drinking. He's actually having a stroke in his left eye right now.
Bye.
And that's the thing.
Goodbye, everybody.
And I'm not saying this to like bash on them. He is. But it's a learning, because they're actually the people that did it. They're both excellent role players. It was not everybody role plays. We all have missteps. We all have like, this will be funny, and then it turns out, or this will be a good idea.
Not so much.
Not so much.
You learn.
Yeah, exactly. And they're excellent role players. So and they did take it pretty. They thought it was hilarious. Everybody else was getting a little irritated with it after a while because they couldn't. They were greased up. Nobody could grab them. It got a little god moddy. So and then when it came to it, like at that point, you've desecrated a temple in this world, and they didn't leave a lot of wiggle room to let them go, and they got to the point where it's like, okay, like guys,
this
the
is
only thing
Tamriel. We have magic to stop you. All right, we're not
Right.
going to try to tackle you because this isn't Family Guy. We're not going to try to catch the greased up deaf guy.
Right. Catch the. Have a good night, America. Hi, everybody. But it came to the point too where people like the character, like the serious ones are like, we would have to put you to death for having done this. There's literally no way we would like just let you go for this. It got to that point, and that's when your goofy character has gone from goofy to kind of overdoing it and not being really funny anymore. Yep.
Yeah.
And it got to that point where when it came to that, and they were like, well, we wanted to keep these around. They're like, all right, well, and like 3 people right then washed their hands of it and just walked away. And that was the end of it. It didn't have a resolution because then it suddenly didn't exist. It just, none of it had happened. It got retconned without even having to be agreed upon. Nobody even said anything.
I don't think we acknowledged after that. But Eric said in the chat about being trial and error. It's very, very true. I mean, I've gone through lots of trial and error in RP, especially when I came back to ESO and Tarvala was recruiting. I stuffed a nice little present.
Your sweat rag.
The sweat rags.
Okay, I got to jump in here real quick. Kishmas, you have to read the comment.
Oh, yeah. What Eric said, like, so that the people that on the podcast can't read it. No.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So read it.
No. But anyway, yeah.
Trial
and error. Keep improve what works, never repeat, and what it doesn't, It's totally true. I totally butchered that, by the way.
Yeah,
that's okay. but we're
hold on, let me say
understand what I'm trying to say.
RP has always been about trial and error. You keep and improve on what works. You never repeat or learn what doesn't. See, that wasn't so hard. You can do that, Kishmas.
Oh my gosh.
Listen.
I couldn't even do that.
Crap, all right?
It's okay. We were all educated in public schools, too. No, I mean, really, I was actually educated in public school. It's just mostly a dig on the fact that I learned everything after that.
But go ahead, Kishmas. Sorry to interrupt you. You can kick me later.
I will. But going back to the trial and error thing, I've gone through lots of trial and error before and even after I've joined, service at the tribunal. With my old DC character, know how many times I've retconned actions because that was idiotic of me and how godmoddy it seemed. And it really changed the way I RP'd and my style. My style changed to a more serious tone. Because I was more of like a lighthearted RPer, not really too serious, but not goofy.
That was
to
that
the point where it's straight
Fusro thing
goofy.
you had told us about once.
No, I will not speak of that again.
Well, you didn't
Never.
know. That was the thing, though.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's different. You weren't doing it like, I'm going to be, I'm the Dragonborn.
I'm going to be Dragonborn.
You just didn't know that was like a thing.
Didn't know it was taboo.
It was just lore
Hey.
ignorance, which happens. We all get that.
Ashen, let him finish his story, dude.
I am.
Yeah, I kind of already did.
Oh,
Yeah, he was wrapping up. It's called just like continuing the conversation.
Transitioning.
Yeah, she's only
No.
saying that because I actually do interrupt people really bad. And
yeah, we're trying to work
told
on that.
I'm
I'm
I
trying.
mean,
I'm trying
you're
to
the
work
leader
on
of the
that.
podcast. I'm pretty sure that's required.
Yeah, I know. But I do tend to step on other people's speaking. So, but no,
I'm trying to work with him on it.
shut up, woman. Nobody wants to hear you.
I need
talk.
like a shot collar. I need a shot collar.
Everybody's here
so
for
I'm
me,
having-
me only, me. No, go on. You got this. You got the podcast. It's all yours. Take it. No, I'm good. I'm done.
Okay, go ahead.
No. See? Playing a
I hate
goofy
you
character
right
right
now.
now. Not
I
so
really
good.
hate you right now. Really, really hate you right now.
I know. I love you too. But no, yeah, it definitely, and especially, that's just Kishmas, what you were saying. That's just on like how you were figuring out how to role play. But honestly, role playing a good goofy character, I think, is even harder than it's harder to role play that than sometimes than a serious character, because everyone knows how to be serious. That's easy. Comedy is hard.
It really is.
Being broody, being kind of a badass, we grow up watching that stuff. But comedy is one of those things, and that's basically when you're being a goofy character. That's what you're trying to do is be comedic. Otherwise, it's not really goofy. You're just being a jackass.
To be fair, on my part in DC, the guilds I was in weren't really completely serious, like,
Right.
Service of the Tribunal. And I think I really evolved after I transitioned to the Ebonheart Pact roleplay scene. I really evolved then, made a concrete effort to, improve my writing, improve all these, event running things.
Mm-hmm.
It's in general, it's improved my RP, and it has helped me. That's what this guild has done for me,
Yeah, and I've definitely enjoyed being with them too, just because it's a different group of people, different style of roleplay and stuff. So there's a thing too, like, I didn't even think of that really, but like the not so, because there's different levels of roleplay guilds as well.
Yep.
But like those ones you were in, if they're a little goofy, like I've seen some in Final Fantasy 14 that they were a little hokey, a little goofy too. So everything that followed with us was hokey, or followed with it was hokey and kind of goofy. But that was, everybody kind of went along with that, just because that, for one, that game makes it a lot easier than, say, ESO, which is a lot more sort of a visceral world, really.
Different from like games like WoW and Final Fantasy, because it's fantasy, but it's medieval fantasy, so there's some seriousness into the aspect of the MMO.
Yeah, and also the art aesthetic too, I think lends to that, because that also changes, like what people like the Black Desert Online. It's a really nice looking game, really sharp. The characters, they got a little bit of that anime look to it, but for the most part, they're still really very realistic looking. You don't get a lot of goofy stuff. It was a lot of fairly serious roleplay and ERP, because they were all good looking.
Always comes back to that.
Which apparently doesn't seem to matter in World of Warcraft, even though your forearms are as big as somebody's head.
Well, I mean,
a
I
huge ham steak.
like playing a goofy character in, like, say, Wildstar. That would be, to me, easier than playing one in, like, ESO.
Yeah, because they have
Or,
bunny
like you said,
girls.
Did you say
Yeah.
Wildstar? What
Wild-
is this?
Yeah, it's
I instantly thought of Worldstar. I'm like,
no,
wait,
no,
no,
Wildstar. It's a
Wildstar.
what?
Have you never heard of Wildstar?
Never heard of it.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
gotta be really disappointing for them.
Oh,
It was Space Foxes.
It's a
and-
AAA game too. That's what's funny. That's why I'm laughing. It's a AAA. Yeah. Oh yeah. They went out all. Who did that one, Jess? You remember?
Oh, no,
I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I took one look at it and fled.
Let me see here.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember who did it, but yeah, it's
NC Soft.
NC Soft. Yeah, NC
That makes
Soft did it,
sense. Yeah.
and it wasn't a bad game. But it had a very. It was like
It reminds me of that Overwatch kind of look.
Yeah, it's like like that, and it's got that kind of style. A little bit more cartoony actually, even than Overwatch. Overwatch has that. Overwatch looks more like a. Oh shit! What are those people called? With a stupid little lamp. I just forgot their name. They do Cars and Up.
Oh, Pixar.
Overwatch is more of a Pixar look, while WildStar, to me, WildStar was like what World of Warcraft would look like if they had like redid it today.
You know, it also reminded me of the one EQ Next.
EQ Next, yeah, it had that look to it.
I'm putting pictures up so people can see the actual artwork and the characters.
Yeah.
So
there you go, Kishman.
So you could say Overwatch was the Pixar and WildStar was the
WoW
DreamWorks.
2.0. Yeah.
Yeah. But
anyway, so
okay, now I see this. Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's
That is a little too goofy for me.
And it was
Speaking of
it was
goofy.
the thing too. It's a sci-fi game.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
just get
Yeah.
away with playing a good goofy character in a game like this.
Definitely.
It to me, and maybe that's it. You play to what what game you're playing. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
See, that has the one you just posted. The artwork reminds me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy.
It
was definitely a. This has been out for years now. What year?
Oh,
did that come out? Came out 2011. It's been out for 6 years now. Can you believe that?
for
No, I'm sorry, 2014. 2014. So 3 years.
Oh, okay.
3 years.
our people in the Twitch, I'm posting those in our Discord general chat. The pictures.
Yeah.
Bring the Discord.
Yeah, those are the wallpapers and stuff. But yeah, and WildStar is definitely. It was one of those. It was like Firefly kind of in space. That kind of but with aliens and things like that. And it was goofy and it was silly. It was a fun game. It just
And so I understood that a lot of people liked it, but it just wasn't my.
Yeah. And
we tried and it wasn't my.
We tried role playing. There was some.
It seemed like an acquired taste type game.
Yeah.
It definitely would be, and there was it suffered from what a lot of MMOs unfortunately suffer from, which is a complete and utter lack of anything to do at endgame once you got there. So
kind of like ESO in the beginning,
right?
I have to say, Eric Darksinger said needs bigger shoulder pads if you want it to be like WoW.
That's true. Yeah,
That's
definitely
funny.
by about a factor of 50.
They need 80 shoulder pads.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'll be
Madonna.
right.
Okay. She's gonna be right.
I don't want to be wrong.
So yeah, with the goofy stuff, it's really game to game. Of course, everything in roleplay obviously is gonna vary game to game. If you're playing I don't know how you would like Star Wars, you could get away with some stupid silly stuff in that because there's some pretty weird characters and aliens and stuff in Star Wars: The Old Republic, for example.
I don't know.
But you can't. Well, I mean, look at Star Wars in general. You've got some pretty. Even like Del Toro was playing in the newest one. He was a smuggler, but he was. He did that.
Yeah,
thing.
that's true.
There's some pretty wacky, kind of over the top out there characters. So you can kind of get away with that. But even that, you're still going to be limited by the races you can play. You can't play. You can't be all given Chewbacca sad poor guys because you can't play a porg. So no poor guys.
No, poor guys.
Poor guys. Sounds like a burger joint.
Hey, that's something we need to start. Poor guys burgers.
Actually, I think it'd be chicken, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's gonna be like a Chick-fil-A, yeah.
Kentucky Fried Porg.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so I actually found it. So I want to give one or two examples, like from Redeep, who is one of my all-time favorites. I find he was so into this, he actually wrote books. Like EverQuest 2, you could actually physically write in little house items and like write books. It was,
It was so cool.
You could do like 5 pages worth in do books. So, and I liked it so much, I actually copied it because I didn't want these to be lost to time, and eventually EQ2 is going to fall apart. So I wanted to read, like he had at the back of one book was on the difference between male and female. That one's a little long, so I'm not going to read that. But the other one was the Ask Professor Redeep or Dr. Redeep. And so it was, like those articles and stuff like that. So he had the, Dear Dr. Redeep, every day I take a stroll in the Eldar Grove and walk past the most beautiful half-elf I've ever seen. I've fallen in love, but she never takes any notice of me. What can I do? Forlorn and lovelorn. And then he always responds with, Dear Forlorn, first of all, find out if it's her mating season. If it's not, you're wasting your time. My research into this area is still tentative, but there are a few obvious, unmistakable signs. Does she sport a brightly colored plumage atop her head? Does she issue her mating call at dusk? If so, then you're in luck. The best advice I can give you is to inhale as much air as possible. Then this will inflate This will inflate the flexible sacs you have and make you appear larger, frightening off potential rivals. Best of luck. And that guy roleplayed like that all the time. It was shit like that. Yeah. Telling a human to inflate, his flexible neck sacs to frighten off potential rivals. It was just the guy.
It was so wrong. It was hilarious. Yeah,
right.
It was.
And the fact, and if he had played anything else, he was playing a Froglock, which is a frog person. So of course it all made sense, and that was what made the character so brilliant, because you couldn't really. It made sense. It's just like, of course, why would a frog not necessarily be able to tell the difference? And of course he took himself and that was the great thing, is he took himself so seriously as the character. Like, the character completely believed all of this. I
think that makes a difference. If you're committed to being this character, then people are, and you keep RPing as it. Eventually people will, at least try to take you seriously and not think of you as a troll,
won't blow you off.
Yeah. At least to me, I think it depends on how committed you are to your character. That goofy.
Yeah.
You see, I wasn't committed to Yori, and I just didn't.
And you were also trying to make her your main, and you were trying to kind of do her as like a sort of a silly, kind of daffy sort of, ditzy thing.
Yeah, and it just, no.
Yeah. But, and sorry, lost my train of thought there. But so
you're welcome.
Old age, we understand.
Right. But one of the things too is, like, you want to, if you're gonna want to play a goofy character, you want to know kind of what you're shooting for too. Like we said, there's, if you want to be taken seriously, there's things like gestures, the things that exist in the game that you would probably be able to get away with, playing as a jester, things like that, especially during, like, out at taverns and things. Of course, that makes sense that there'd be a jester or some sort of comedic something or other there. Then there's, of course, the unintentionally silly or the kind of clueless things, like, it's a horrible example, but the Jar Jar Binks, he's he wasn't funny at all. But that was, he also wasn't very well written, but that's not his fault. But, the character wasn't
Jar Jar.
Wasn't intentionally
I always blame
funny.
Jar Jar.
We always plays a Jar Jar here. You so bad.
It was so bad.
It
on
was
so
so
many
bad.
different levels.
What?
It was what my kids call cringy.
It was super cringy. Yeah. Yeah, definitely Jar Jar's cringy.
Jar Jar is a Sith Lord.
I hate you so much. I've heard that theory. It didn't hold up. No. Turns out it was Swallow Ren. Or Ben Swallow.
Ben Swallow.
With his super wideness. He of the high pants.
I'm going to put a picture up again.
You're going to put a bench. She loves Ben Swallow.
No, I don't.
Like characters like, like Jar Jar. The character was clueless. He was unintentionally silly because he wasn't doing it on purpose. It was just like that was the personality type. Then there's the annoyingly silly ones that, there's no reason to be like what they are. Like there's no depth to it. The characters, it was literally created just to kind of almost be an annoyance and harass other people.
Yes. And they consider it funny, but no one else does.
Yeah, and if you're at a comedy club and the only person is laughing is the guy on stage, is it funny?
Of course.
Not really. No. No, the answer is
not really.
We're gonna have to deduct points from you, Kishmas. That's no points.
This is definitely going to be in the talk after the show, Kishmas. This is definitely going to be in the talk after the show.
I thought this podcast was like Who's Line. Yeah. The points don't matter.
The points don't matter, and nobody's getting paid. No, really, nobody's getting paid, you guys. There's no money in this. There's almost, contrary to what Joe Rogan says, there's almost no money in real podcasting.
No, there's not.
If he had said some throwaway line a couple weeks ago, like, podcasting's super easy. All you got to do is just, you get some sponsors and anybody could do it. It's like, yeah, no, Joe Rogan, one of the top podcasters in all of the world, consistently in the top 5. It's not that easy. Some of us don't have name recognition and actually have to, or a production crew and have to figure this shit out on our own. And not very well.
Not always will.
Not always will. But the annoying silly ones, it can get real grating real fast. In especially, you really gotta know your group. Yeah, like Eric here says, in small doses. A lot of that thing is you can't take it over and over and over again. Yeah, unless your name is PewDiePie. Yeah, then all you have to do is do some stupid ass thing. It could be worse.
Screech into the mic. The screech.
Or you could be Paul Logan and just film suicidal Japanese people in the forest and then be completely clueless as to the situation you're in and ruin your life.
Oh my god.
Yeah, what a fucking retard.
That was so...
Yeah.
That was just... I facepalmed for that.
I'd only heard of that guy. Like, I don't watch PewDiePie. I don't watch... what is his name? Paul Logan. So much. I care about him that much. I just remembered his name as I instantly forgot it. I don't watch a lot of those like YouTube star people because honestly I find them largely annoying, and a lot of the stuff they do reminds me of like the tame YouTube version of Jackass, which they already did it. So why would I mean, give it. It's well produced, but yeah, that was oof. Yeah, good safety tip, folks. If you go to the suicide forest in Japan and you actually come across a suicide, stop joking. It's not funny anymore.
It's not funny.
Yeah, and speaking things on YouTube, this is why we don't rely on YouTube for any of our content or any of our stuff. I forget what they just said. I heard that they had just removed some of the restrictions, or they're going to increase the restrictions on how you get like paid through their stuff, like in February, like a month from now. And if you don't meet those, it was like so many hours of views, over 1,000 subscribers, you instantly will lose all that stuff, like all the money you're making off of what you already had. If you don't meet those, but that's the thing.
That's wrong.
Well, it's a private company, and they say in their terms of service that it can change at a moment's notice.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that they're gonna.
Oh yeah, YouTube's hurting itself.
I don't understand why companies evoke this, because they're going to simply cause people to go to their competitors. So there are competitors to YouTube.
Yeah, there's
one
a
of
few
them's going to win. Even Facebook is trying to compete.
Yep, Facebook.
I mean, on
Yeah,
you know,
and Facebook has that's of course that's one of the problems is all the big four, the Facebook, YouTube, Google, and I guess you could consider Apple and Microsoft. You know, they're all rivaling for that stuff. So if one of them, all someone needs to do is fumble for one of the others to pick up the ball. You know,
Yep.
and they'll run with it. Yeah, I YouTube is I love YouTube, don't get me wrong. I love watching fail videos on it, but it's definitely as something for our show. I put our stuff up there, but that's not the main purpose. It's just because it's free and it's easy. Otherwise I wouldn't bother
Yep.
with it, which I think I've said before.
Basically, we use as an archive.
Partly, yeah. Which is and I don't even use that solely as the archive because they could be like, all right, well, everything that's been up for so many years that doesn't have more than, this many views, we're gonna delete off our system one day. That's gonna have to happen sooner or later. They have how many terabytes of data? I think I what's after terabytes? Quadrabytes or quadrupeds?
well, they're like he said, they're
petabyte,
trying to
like that.
position themselves if net neutrality goes out the window. It's going to give them
you kind of
leverage.
you kind of cut out there. I missed what you were saying.
Oh, I said that they're trying to position themselves if net neutrality goes out or changes.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion.
Oh, I thought the way you said it at the end, I thought there was like another line. I was like,
No.
And, okay.
No. That was, I'm just trying to figure out how to say it without
politicizing everything.
Yes, I'm trying to be very, very.
Yeah, don't worry about
so,
You ain't big doo-doo with YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, the net neutrality and all that stuff. I think it's mostly that just YouTube doesn't. I mean, honestly, net neutrality aside, YouTube's they've been fucking up ever since the, like Southwestern Airlines come fly the friendly skies, and then right after that is either the Nazi video or the people getting beheaded over in Iran video or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's when YouTube had a few, it's like that freeze frame and then Morgan Freeman's voice, and that's when he knew he done fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever since then, they've been on a downward spiral and oof, yeah. Just anybody out there, if you're getting money from YouTube, don't quit your job. Just saying, don't quit your job.
I don't think that they just the main corporations don't like the idea that other people are using their own mannerisms against them and are making money off of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't think they like
when
it.
you build something like that, you've almost got to be you've got to be like full on like libertarian. Like, okay, we built this platform, don't do anything illegal, but it's the Wild West,
Yeah, exactly. The internet is the Wild West. That's a good way to put it.
It really is,
Yeah.
Just don't hurt anybody. Don't fucking like that one jackass that only got 10 years in prison for the shit, I just forgot it. When you call the God
Swatting?
Swatting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
swatting.
He only got 10 years for that. For that guy getting killed.
Yeah, that's
They
just
sentenced him for 10 years. And yet there was another guy, I had heard this on the Final Encountercast, another podcast I listened to from the Limp Break Radio guys. They had said something about there was another guy that he had spammed, was it Twitch channels, like millions of messages on Twitch, like different channels, like just, over and over and over again with spam bots and things like that. That dude, 10 years in prison for spamming.
Yeah, and it's
It's just, like one guy lost a life, the other one people were slightly inconvenienced for an hour.
And it's the same.
And it's the same thing. It wasn't here in the U.S. It was another country. So
that probably has something to do with it. But
no, just kidding. Because our system is not any better a lot of times.
No, it's
So
not.
we got completely off of goofy and silly characters and went really, really down a dark rabbit hole. So back to suicides in the forest. Because who doesn't? See, I'm not Paul Logan, so I can joke about that. Because I'm also not in
Too
front of
soon.
a current suicide victim.
Yeah, probably stop and let's just move
Right.
on.
So, some of the pros too. Okay, so some of the pros of doing the silly stuff is, well, obviously it's lighthearted. I mean, eh, doing it in, giving yourself a break from the goofy characters and things like that. You know, people know what they're, getting into pretty much up front if you're going to do it. If you're going in there and like Gigsy said with your kind of jester costume, they know they know what you're getting. They're walking up to a kind of a goofy character. Not the ones that are like in taverns just completely just fucking around and like pretending. Like I think Sib and I had the conversation of the actual trolls, the role player trolls that aren't actually role players, but they're the ones that are like twerking in front of your character on a table, and then they're like, well, maybe if I try to be serious and pretend like I'm role playing, they'll fall for it and I can get them. And then they're like, greetings, 'twas the mead that I need. It's like, okay, you were just twerking in my face 5 seconds ago. No one's buying this shit box. Go away. Shoot.
And the sad thing is, a lot of like ESO, you have them on ignore, so you don't even see what they're saying. But they are like standing there, and then they just kind of are standing there some more, and it's like, are they going to go away? Are they saying something?
Yeah, and Eric Darkseeker, like that's more concise than the way I've said it. I've been having one of those like nights. No, like I said, know your audience. Otherwise, you are just a troll, and you may not always be a troll. But if you're kind of fucking around like that and nobody's digging on it, you're kind of trolling. I've been trolled by real role players. In the game, there was one example. Early on when I was in the servants, they were still in the guild, but they were no longer of the guild, but they used to help lead the ordinators. Kishmas knows who I mean. And we were downstairs on the bench, and everyone was just talking, and he came down and just like out of character just laid across the back of it. Like, it's like, dude,
I am trying so hard to remember right now.
Yeah, I can tell you afterward. I don't want to name. I'm not going to name. I don't name names.
Call out post. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's like I had to be the asshole. I was like, dude, we're role playing here. I don't need to be trolled by other role players. You might be having fun, and that's the other thing. If you're having fun at a character when other people are role playing, they're not having fun with you. You're actually trolling at that point. You might be. We'll take the goofiness out of the actual in-character thing and take it into out-of-character. When does that get too much?
Best advice for those is never feed trolls.
That's right. Is even when they're role players. At least when it's a role player, you might be able to be like get through to them, and be like, listen, dude, you should know better than this. Like
they would have a better understanding of it.
Yeah. Sib, you remember in Final Fantasy 14 when we were role playing out in the courtyard, and then that one guy, like he was finished with role play, so then he would call his giant pet and jump around in circles around everybody when we were still in the middle of it.
It was very annoying.
Being goofy, he was being silly, but we were still role playing, so that wasn't cool.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah, I've absentmindedly done that a few times.
I have too, but he was very consistent with it. That was the problem,
right? Nobody's innocent.
Yeah, if the role play was done, and everybody was just standing around, he didn't care. It was,
now it's playtime.
He was done, and you are supposed to be done too. That's how it felt.
Yeah, and you don't want to, like I said, we'll take it out of the goofy characters, just being, and we all do it. I mean, Kishmas, I don't know how many times you and I, Jazz, you and I, our characters will get like, especially when somebody accidentally goes link dead and we're waiting for them to come back. Gloves are off. It's on, motherfuckers. We'll start bouncing around. We'll tell jokes. We'll bullshit and stuff like that. But you got to stop as soon, especially if you're waiting on somebody, you got to stop when they come back and get back to it. But if you keep doing that while people are role playing right in front of you, especially if it's your own guild or if it's other role players, that's not cool. It's just not something you should do. you respect it. Even if you're done role playing, respect the time that other people have. That they shouldn't have to put up with your bullshit just because you got bored or your role play kind of wrapped up early.
One thing that really annoys me is when I'm RPing and also two RPers start dueling.
Oh
Yes.
Like
Big ass chain come down, really distracting, and
yeah. Well, then, no, when they actually slash duel, like mechanically duel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's what I mean. Out of character dueling.
Yeah, and using sometimes honestly.
That has been something that has been an issue several times when people who are role players, who I know are role players, who are good role players, suddenly decide to come into a known roleplay hangout and start bouncing around and dancing on the tables and talking OOC
like it's okay
and dueling.
Because they're role players.
Right. And I have come under fire because I have said I'm really disappointed. And this was the guild leader of the guild I was doing it. And I was like, dude, this is a role play. You run the guild. You can't be on. What are you doing?
By example, maybe just a little bit.
And they were like, oh, calm down. We're just having fun. It's like, go have fun. Not in the role play area.
You're having fun. I'm not. You're.
Yeah, this isn't funny. Stop it.
Would they have? And that's the thing. If you wouldn't have the same attitude if it was happening to you, if the roles were reversed, then you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Like if that person was sitting there and then Jazz, you come in and I come in and we're like, hey, let's duel on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would they probably have appreciated that when they're in the middle of their serious role play, and then we just say, oh, but we're having fun. Probably not.
And that's what they say, and it's like, but no one else is. And as a role player, you need to remember that.
Yeah. A little respect goes.
Have your
way.
fun, if you don't want to role play today, that's fine. Go bounce around somewhere with your friends, but don't come into the role play hangout and act like a complete doofus.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way to get and manage a guild.
Yeah, it's when and like I said, you can get away with certain stuff. Like if everybody's, there's sometimes where everybody's like out of character all of a sudden, and it's like boop boop boop. That stuff happens, but you just can't do it when there's other people having actual role play and it's things are, when I say serious, I mean like they could just be sitting there talking, but they're not like, I'm putting my hand in the fire and, and you just got somebody sitting in the middle of the fire pit or something goofy like that. All that stuff is all well and good, but you just like basically goes down to what Eric said. Just know your audience,
Yeah. Because we've had our Silver Circle Guild, which was a very serious roleplay guild.
Mm-hmm. Very dark.
You were very dark, and we were expected to be in character at all times if you were in the guild or participating in roleplay.
Yeah.
If you logged on, you were on that roleplay character, and unless you were having a bad day, and then you would just say, "I'm OOC today, guys," and you'd go level. But you were supposed to be.
If your character was injured and you're like, "I'm just running through the halls of OOC, I have to go check the bank," or that.
Right.
You got that
if you were in a jail cell, but I'm not going to ask somebody to log in and sit in their jail cell if this is their only character. So go out, level OOC, just have your /AFK on or something so that people know.
Or if someone says something, just be like, I'm in a jail cell technically. I'm not here.
I'm not here.
Yeah.
Of course, what got me was when they were in the jail cell and they still went to a roleplay event.
Yeah.
And they said, just pretend I'm here next week.
Yeah, it's like it's taking place right now.
Yeah. No, stop that. But anyway, that's a whole nother rant. But in Silver Circle, we would have like, what was it called? Dueling night. And we were always OOC for the most part. And so we were bouncing around and being silly. And if somebody had walked in the guild and they saw us acting like that, they'd been like, I thought you guys were a roleplay guild. And we had that happen a couple. We're like, we are. This is one of our nights. It's like Blue Jeans Friday. This is just one of those days where we're just
Friday.
We're just having fun. It's been a slow roleplay day, so we're just taking the day off and we're learning how to
like literally
PvP.
nothing happened, no events were planned, no stories going on. It's like, you know what? Let's just talk and bullshit. Because there's actually is a benefit to that too, getting to know your guild out of character.
Yes.
That's one
Yes,
thing.
and we were all learning. Triton was bound and determined to teach all of us role players how to PvP, so it had that benefit as well.
He really was. He really liked that. Yeah, and we're gonna have to do an episode on how Discord has changed gaming. That's one I plan on doing because that's like
Yes.
I know Kishmis, Jazz,
So
Sib,
different than it used to be. Oh,
it's
God.
so much easier to get into voice chat and talk with people. I can't do it while I'm role playing, but if I'm out doing it, you know, I've gotten to know people in the guild so much better out of character because Discord has made it that much easier, and we're always connected to each other. It's not like a forum post, which is I'm sorry to say, Jazz. I'm
Very
thinking,
robotic.
I'm thinking forums are there's always going to be a place for them, but I think they're definitely on the down. They're on the downward.
Yes, they
spike.
are, because most people don't like to A, read, or B,
Right.
write. So
Yeah.
it makes having where only people who can do both of those things well.
Mhm.
And there's not a lot of people like that anymore. Not to be mean, but
Elitist.
maybe I'm... But it really just seems to me that people have lost the ability to storytell and to read stories. So I've
Yeah.
given up on that largely.
Yeah, they're. I mean, they'll always be good to like I still like writing journals, like writing stories, and they're good for like hub communities like the ESO RP. But you know, I've noticed like your guilds, even Servants of the Temple, it doesn't get near as much traffic as they used to compared to before Discord really took off. You know,
Yeah.
and it just made it because you can
You have
always
to
keep up to
adjust.
date. Yeah,
I really don't think it's as much Discord because there was always voice channels.
there was.
I think that
just think it's less now. But the thing is,
I think
too-
it's more Twitter. It's more Twitter and Facebook and things like
Mm.
that, where you're supposed to make your statement in a very short attention
what
span thing.
I'm saying is because while we're using the forums a little less, though, the guilds, because of Discord, the guilds are actually tighter knit because we're always
Well,
talking
that's
to each
true.
other, you know,
That's
either
Absolutely.
voice or even throughout the day. You know, I've seen people like, and I come back on and it's like, you're at message 145 of, you know,
I
it's
know.
like, holy shit, what were you people doing all day?
Talking about memes, bro.
That's right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know, and it's really useful. What I love it for is constant event updates. I know Kishmis, you and everybody over in Servants, they often like an hour before something happens, they'll like at everybody in announcements and be like, hey, there's something going on in an hour. We don't always remember it, but you know,
Yeah.
for the most part it happens, and it's
Usually,
nice.
I'm very bad about it. I'll do it right when it's about to start.
Right? You're like, hey guys.
All right, guys, it's happening.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, this thing I've been planning for a month and a half is happening in 2 minutes,
20 seconds.
So I know
Really?
I said
What's it
something early.
about?
X up.
That's right.
Yep.
But yeah, that's one we'll have to, because Discord has definitely changed the landscape.
Oh yeah. I don't think I would go back to any other
No.
voice.
Well,
No.
and like let's.
I
be honest,
always
all
thought
guilds
Teams
were garbage.
trash.
Oh, it was. TeamSpeak was absolute. Ventrilo was trash. TeamSpeak was trash. They were such a
I've actually
bitch.
never done that.
It's if you did TeamSpeak, close
Yep.
enough.
What about Skype? Don't forget about
is
Skype.
I've done.
garbage.
Yeah.
Skype
like,
is just too bulky. It's
It's-
ridiculous.
it's
I can't even. I've actually officially, since they added video to Discord, now I've completely uninstalled.
Mhm.
Never used it.
Yeah, I see a lot of podcasters that they do basically what we're doing over things like Skype, and they're like, all right, so I'm recording the voice on my end, and I have a separate track recording Skype. How do I match those up? It's like, oh, you
Wow.
get Discord and just record the whole fucking thing at once. It's pretty easy, actually.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Discord, that's what I tell everybody. Is like, in you up that quality of the bits per, the bit rate, and it sounds. Oh, as long as everyone's got a decent mic, it sounds like everyone's almost in the same room. So
Yep.
Mhm.
sounds good. So cons, getting back to the goofy
Oh.
stuff. Cons.
What?
Did we do pros?
Yeah, we did pros.
Okay.
Yeah, man, she's not even listening to the show anymore. Speaking of things that have checked out.
What? I'm interacting with people on Twitch. Shouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah. And well, actually, there was one more pro. You can actually act the way, you never actually get to act. Nobody ever gets to, like, if you played sort of like Bargnar. I can't do like a Bargnar thing in real life. I'm not that stupid, for one. And you can kind of, you really can, you can kind of let your hair down a little bit if you've still got
And
hair.
have fun,
Yeah.
just be that lighthearted person you always wanted to be.
Yeah. I guess you could consider, would you guys consider like people that play like smaller children kind of stuff? Would that be kind of a goofy thing, or is because kids are
Depends.
usually
Depends if
get
you
away
have,
with
like,
more.
Like a toddler who's always screaming.
Right.
That's a little too. That's a little goofy.
Kicking the back every time you see him. He's kicking the back of your seat in the stagecoach, screaming at the top of his lungs.
Kicking the back of your seat at a sermon, you never know.
Yeah, that's right. I'm in a sermon. There's always one crying baby every time. Some of the cons, of course, people can get mean about it. Especially if you're doing it horribly wrong. And again, we've put a lot of it on the person playing the goofy character, but they could be doing a fantastic job, and then like we said, Honduran, he's kind of a mixed bag. Some people really love him, like they were saying, and I understand he's not actually a troll, but but to some people he comes off that way.
He was on Ignore for a while, so
yeah, and I've heard of several people that have put him on block just because they don't want to deal with it, they don't understand it, and they don't care, and that's their choice, of course. But that's part of problem of playing a character. I mean, a lot of people can get put on block for being a perfectly normal character that people just don't like, or they, it goes to a place they don't want. And it's not really any different just because you're playing goofy. It might be a little more innocent, but it's still not going to be everyone's bag. And if they don't want to have to deal with it, that's a possibility that may or may not come about.
And in games like ESO, where you have an @name,
yeah, you can never get away from that.
Could really burn you.
Yeah,
because if you're playing a really goofy character and somebody thinks you're a troll and you get blocked, your @name's blocked.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you got to be careful.
Yeah, I've had people come, find out that they're on block because they're trying to talk to me, and I've RP'd with them in the past and didn't realize that that alt that was on there, they ended up on Ignore.
Yeah.
Then they're like, "Why? You and I were friends. Why did you put me on Ignore?"
No,
you must have been trolling because that's the only way. Well, what do you consider trolling? And I list some things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does that. Yeah, well, you can tell him if he wants off Ignore, I'll take him off this one time. But if it happens again, he goes.
That's that. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's a really bad con, to me.
Yep.
Yeah, and Eric, he said that he has no names on Ignore. He likes to know what they're saying. I'm the same way. I only do that for like really, really bad trolls. But I will edit block them. Like if I see the name, I'll skip it. I won't read I won't waste my time reading what it has to say.
It's gotten to that point for me because apparently you can only 99 people.
Yeah.
I have reached my max.
You gotta start removing some. Yeah.
So I've had to remove some of those that I think are fairly harmless, or I can just mentally ignore.
Yeah, and like Honduran, for me, he doesn't bother me. It's not my favorite kind of role play, and I'll interact with him, but I'm not gonna flat out ignore the guy or anybody really that's like him, because he is like he's part of the community. That's cool with me as long as he's a decent dude out of character and it's really not a troll. But a lot of my characters, they just wouldn't have anything to do with somebody like that. So like character-wise, they basically brush him off.
Yeah, but if you got
and
a
I don't mean
character,
to I'm not trying to pick on him, guys. He's just
if
the
you got a
example I
character
have.
is a serious character, you cannot get butthurt whenever they just totally ignore your character.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it comes with the territory.
My main volley, if I was to run into him, she would not interact with him at all. Not at all. Of course, she's a mean little orc, but he would not.
Cranky.
Yeah, she wouldn't. She would be like, I'm walking away now. So, I mean, I think, you got to know who you're playing to. Definitely.
Oh, no, definitely.
And him being an Argonian, and a lot of his RP, I know, involves Dunmere. He can't get upset talking about Honduran, he can't get upset at when, a lot of them don't take him seriously and
Yeah.
just totally
It's just
ignore him.
It's just what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, it's with any goofy character. That's just how they kind of go.
I mean, he came into T's Tavern
Mhm.
wearing a wedding dress, and he's a male. So
Yeah.
it was like, I don't know if I should talk to him or not.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people, I think, confuse, and it's why it's so easy to confuse, I think, him for an actual troll, because it's kind of trollish behavior to a lot of people if you don't know that he's actually, that he posts a lot on the forums, that I see him on Twitter all the time. He is an actual role player and stuff like that. It's just that I can definitely see where it comes off like that, and I'm sure it probably gets to him a little bit here and there, and I'm sure there's issues that have come up, but it's just it's part of it.
Bless you.
Whoa, bless you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
It
just
happened too
just
fast for me to stop.
Don't you hate that? That's the worst.
I was fine. It went tickle. I rubbed my nose and ka-choo! And I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know who did that. I thought it was Kishmas first.
no, that's all me. Sorry about that.
I have push to talk when I'm on this.
Oh.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't want to talk to you people.
I will say, Eric's had a lot of good comments in the chat.
Oh yeah, totally.
But he put one up. It says, I do, however, have 24-hour ignore lists. I block them for one day and then go back the next and remove them. Everyone gets to have a bad day, which that's not a bad idea.
That's true.
That is
I don't usually
like that idea.
Yeah, I don't put people on ignore easily. They have to be a troll 4, 5, 6 times, and then I will. Oh, well, not all of them. ESO, what's his fake? Tupac, ESO. He went on ignore immediately.
Oh my god!
I haven't met him, I guess.
Was this son of Grimfire?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
I will say that this guy hates me so much that he made a character matching my character's name called Good Cial, trying to get me upset, I guess, because I think it drives him crazy that I just ignore him. I will, if he sits down right next to my character, I'll keep playing. It's like he doesn't exist.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do, and I think that's the only thing to do, but apparently that has earned me quite a level of hate from him and his little minions.
Troll buddies.
So, yeah. So, but yeah, he went on ignore immediately. I know the type, and that was all, but the rest of his friends had to work at it.
Yeah.
I think there's like 15 of them, and they're all on ignore.
See, I just have, when it comes to ignore for me, I have very, very, very little patience for people, because when I'm trying to seriously RP and this kind of stuff happens, it throws me off my game. It happens in DM'd events all the time. I have to focus, and I have to, make sure everyone gets their action, dealt with. Everyone understands the DM altogether. And when that doesn't happen, I get very frustrated. I get very irritable because I'm not concentrating on that anymore. I'm concentrating on some dumbass who's trying to be a troll.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for that. And for me, I ignore to avoid drama and all that good jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I can see that on your character, honestly, because your character is a serious character. Well, I could see that on really a lot of characters in the servants,
Yeah.
because they are serious characters. And
Like, it's like those advertisements, heavy roleplay. That means it's serious.
yeah,
Like, when it just says roleplay, you don't know. You don't know if it's serious, lighthearted, I've never seen a medium roleplay guild. I mean, let's be honest.
and
They
that's
always say that they're-
Medium rail, well done as well.
Yeah. They're always
But no, that's another good.
they're all hard roleplay guilds.
If games would give us a little bio, we could put heavy RP, or
Right.
lighthearted
RP.
RP. Yeah, I've had
Yeah.
people
Would
put
know
light
you-
RP, but
But
we've had
I
people
never know
who've
what
joined
that
us.
means.
What?
Light RP.
It means that, well, you remember we had that big long survey to give people before they joined our guild. And I gave people a series of choices. One of them was, I just like to level, and sometimes I RP. I just like to RP when it's fun, but I really don't worry
Okay.
about
Yeah.
And people, there was like 9 different categories of role players. And
Jazz likes forms. She's a
Yes, I do.
bureaucrat at heart.
She's
I know.
a heavy RPer.
The bureaucracy is
I was-
expanding.
Yeah,
She is definitely what's his face from Futurama. The bureaucracy, man. Yeah.
I'm very good at that, and I am an what's it called?
Or I wouldn't say you're good. I just said you did it. You know.
Now I can't even think. Administrator. I've been an administrator on numerous occasions in various jobs, and like when I went for my job interview this time, it's all pretty organized in the area that I'm going to be in, and I'm going to be the only person in the office. I do everything. So we opened up this window. She goes, "This is the file room." Now, when she said that, what do you think of when you file?
The room with files in it?
Right. I mean, but like file cabinets, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. Tables with files stacked.
Ooh.
And I walked in there, was like...
Sounds fun!
You're like, I can just
Not
see
what
like
I
a
envisioned.
vein bulge in your eyes
Yeah.
start twitching in your hands.
She saw my
tremble.
eye twitch. She was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I can fix that, right? And she was like, "Fix it? You know, organize it? Oh, would you?" I'm not sure I cannot.
Yeah. I'm not even going to be working here. I'm just going to have to do this for free. It's just going to be done.
I'm just going to come by and just do this. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Just leave me some bagels and some coffee. I'll be fine.
Exactly. It was just, oh my gosh.
Gluten-free, please.
Yeah. Gluten-free bagels will be.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's start wrapping things up here, guys.
Yeah, we've been at it a while.
Is there any final thoughts you guys want to say on the goofiness that we haven't maybe already said, or just make it more concise?
Well, I think you act to your audience. And
Gorge!
Been waiting to do that whole episode, haven't you?
to your audience.
Yes.
And just remember that while it's okay to have fun, it's also okay to remember that if you're the only one in the room having fun, it might not actually be RP.
Yeah, it might not be
Yeah.
fun after all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, and if you're going to play a goofy character, be committed. Don't give up, because it's easy to walk away from a character when you think people don't like them. But if you're committed and you're in for
Yeah.
the long haul,
If that's what
Eventually-
you really
well,
want, yeah.
Yeah. But
Take
also
some
remember
time,
that
like,
there's
look
two
at
meanings to
reading.
the word.
oh, go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, you cut out there.
Oh, I said just remember there are two meanings to the word committed.
What's the other one? All right. Excuse me.
Not me this time.
No, that was me. I actually coughed. I don't know why it sounded like a sneeze, but it did to my ears too. So I think that will just about do it for the show. Hopefully...
Oh, can I just throw in one little thing?
Yeah, go ahead, babe.
Okay, I put up my silly, serious, sometimes survey question and asked, we are looking for a name to call our listeners.
Yeah.
So no one answered but Jazz.
Yeah, we're trying to think of something catchy to call, like some people like the other podcast I have. They have the LB Army because it's LBR. So RP Army. I'm not gonna do that because that's like too blatant a ripoff. And also, you guys aren't an army. But we're trying to think of something funny or clever to call for like promotional stuff and things like that.
So if you want to throw them up in the chat, the Discord chat, general chat, just ideas. If not, you're going to end up with something like trolls.
Yeah, there's Goonies, trolls. Those are ones that are floated out right now because I think the
nematodes.
Yeah, the RPR ematodes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm personally a fan of marsupials, even though they never scared me.
Laza loves marsupials.
That's right. But yeah,
if you guys think of some cool names, just please throw them out. We would love to consider them. And I'm not saying we will go with it, but
no.
just give us some
Obviously,
ideas.
there's only going to be one person that wins, and it may not be any of you. It may be something that we have a brilliant idea, but who knows? Maybe it will lead to it. So, but
Okay.
yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you for putting that out. Another completely unrelated thing too. Sometime this week, I may or may not be defending the roleplay community against one of our very own, David, our Haley, in Dragon Ball Fighters, because he challenged me, and I'm going to whoop his ass, and it's going to be very sad. We'll stream it live eventually when we figure out how to
Do it live!
Right.
Yeah.
And it will be an ass whooping of epic proportions. And
Or not.
I've been I've been playing. He's going the fuck down.
Good to know you're...
Prince of all Saiyans. So, go ahead
It's
if you
good
want
that
to.
you're not...
Oh yeah, I'm humble. I'm gonna whoop his ass, but I'll be humble about it and then brag about it afterward. So, RPMMORadio at gmail.com, facebook.com/RPMMORadio, or Twitter at RPMMORadio if you want to join us there. We appreciate everybody. If you have not subscribed to our Twitch feed, we would appreciate it. Of course, you could always listen to that if you're listening on our podcast live every Saturday, 7 Central, twitch.tv/RPMMORadio. And of course, tune in next time and find out why playing a halfling Goofy is easy, because no one takes them seriously anyway. Next time on RPMMO Radio. Good night, everybody.
Night!
The thoughts and opinions of RPMMO Radio are just that and should not be taken as the gospel truth. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great rock covers and video game music.